It is 8:10 p.m. Central Standard Time, Oklahoma time, and it's time for a live stream on Grease Monkey Videos. Thank you guys for joining. Crypto King is in the room, so is Canes as a clown. It is 8:10 p.m. Central Standard Time, Oklahoma. There we go. Sorry about the reverb here. Canes as a clown. Anybody know who he's talking about there? Canes as a clown. There's two schools of economic thought, two main schools of economic thought. The Keynesians and the Austrians. Austrian economics and Keynesian economics. Austrian economics relies on common sense and real economics. And Keynesian says, bring out the helicopters, just start dropping the money. Keynes is a clown, for sure. It's a redistribution of wealth under the guise of helping the people, of course. Ego Less is here, Spokane Press. Now, if you're joining us and this video is already rendered, just fast forward to about 4 or 5 minutes into the video. We're already 1 minute into the video right now, and that's when the video is going to start. Say about 5 minutes into the video. So I just want to give some shout outs. Thomas Bertrand, DR460N is in the house. So is Stephen P, Bad Andy, Stephen Pierce, Adolph Oliver, Kino Dude, James 90, WCMW, Marshall T, Mary Johnson, Timothy Mason. Yeah, Maynard Keynes. Clancy Russell, Nostra Deluxe, Nostra Deluxe, Unbroken 1010. If I miss you, I apologize. Alf Howard, Organic Mechanic, Patty J. Of course, Harry Balls is with us. Can't go anywhere without Harry Balls. Anywhere you go, you got to bring Harry Balls. B. Carpenter, Lou Machado, Hans, Enlightened Mystery, Oklahoma Locked and Loaded, like that. Joseph Cornell, Alicia DeMoss, W83, Stratman 60 from Fort Worth, Texas. Shane Gregory, Dave, The Art of LaPierre. The Art of LaPierre. Jedediah Bennett, Venti McPherson, Rock Smith, Sean Collin, John Smith. All right, I think we're... All right, cool. Thanks for joining tonight, guys. I'm going to try like crazy to do live streams on Grease Monkey Videos at least 3 nights a week. This is Wednesday, so I think I did one on Monday. Today's Wednesday, and then on Friday. And then, maybe some for special occasions, like say some breaking news thing happens and I want to share it with you guys, and it'd be good for us all to get together and just kind of put our heads together, because none of us is truly greater than all of us. I wanted to play this real quick before we get... There's actually a couple things that I want to talk about before we get into these two cops, which is the reason I titled this, Are These New York Cops Actually Right? By the way, if you send out a super chat, I will read every single one of the super chats, and I really appreciate you guys supporting this live stream. Anytime I think about the ritualistic shame muzzle, I'm just going to go ahead and play this right here without the sound on. I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but anytime I think of the ritualistic shame muzzle, especially this style right here, the blue with the white fringe style, this is what I always think of. And if this is true, and there's no indication that it's not true, that this is some kind of shop that makes these things right here. Wow, I fail to see the sterilization. But where's the sterilization process? I mean, does this get sanitized like later on in the process? And if so, or is all the any kind of material that's in these masks from touching them so much? Because when you touch things, there's oil on your fingertips, and oil attracts more things onto surfaces. So I can't even imagine if they try to attempt to sterilize these things after the fact, after this process right here, that some of that schmutz, for lack of a better word, I'll just use A. Fraudste's terminology. Can you get a little schmutz? Of course you can get some. The point is, Americans shouldn't be wearing ritualistic shame muzzles. Of course you can get schmutz. So does that schmutz get locked in? I mean, don't talk to me about the sterilization process. And then another thing is, when you go to stores, a couple of my local stores, there's a poorly paid employee there to greet you at the door with this basket of these ritualistic shame muzzles. I'm going to play this again, just kind of rewind it. And there's no there's no thought of giving you a sterilized product. You know, it's not like in a package that you opened yourself. It's something that somebody just grabbed their hands and just stuffed them in this little tote, and now they're handing them out to everybody. And when somebody grabs one, maybe they'll grab two of them, and maybe you're behind this person, and that thing, the first one they grabbed, would be yours. So whatever gunk, maybe this person just got done picking his nose or scratching his butt. Well, now that's on the ritualistic shame muzzle that they want you to wear. It's such an upside down world. And the things that they're asking and requiring people to do, and on the other side of it, the things that people are rolling over and submitting and just doing without questioning, is off the charts to me, man. It really does testify to the power of incessant propaganda and the 15,000 hour indoctrination program that they call public schools, you know, the public school system, which I call the public fool system. When I see that big yellow and black vehicle go down the street, I just always go, you know, it's a fool bus. Put a bunch of fools together, and what do you expect? He who walks with the wise will be wise, but a companion of fools will be destroyed, or it's likely that he'll be destroyed. I like this Joel Salatin guy, and I saw this quote today, and I wanted to share it with you. I like what he said here. I don't have any disagreement with it. We don't need a law against McDonald's or a law against slaughterhouse abuse. We ask for too much salvation by legislation. That is literally what people are doing when they're begging politicians to please create another law that will make us safe and will make us more free. Laws don't make us free. The laws enact more control by the political class and the elite rich ruling class and the corporate class. You don't get to have freedom when laws are made. The more laws that are made, the less freedoms that we have. There is no salvation by legislation. There's damnation by legislation. There's a loss of liberties by legislation, but there's no salvation by legislation. All we need to do is empower individuals. I love that. Because that is why I'm even on social media. We need to empower each other. And one of the best ways you can do that is to knock out the garbage in between your ears and fill it with real knowledge. Like Schoolhouse Rock said back in the 70s, it's true. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is the enemy of faith. Faith is the enemy of knowledge. Knowing is not faith. Having faith is not knowledge. So there is no salvation by legislation, and we do need to empower individuals. That's why most of us here, most if not all of us that are here, are for anybody, anywhere. It doesn't matter the color of the skin. If you're a human being, you should be able to have a personal protection device of your choice, up to including sky's the limit, shall not be infringed. Why? Because you know when you give a personal protection device, i.e. a firearm, to somebody, you have empowered them. Show them how to use it, and they're even more empowered. I understand people who've never had access to a firearm, they need training. Have training, increase knowledge, know how to load it, know how to tear it down, know how to put it back together, know how to take care of that thing. Learn how to use it. Now you're an empowered individual. All we need to do is empower individuals. And I like what Samuel Adams said. He said, it's not the majority who will prevail. It is not the majority who will prevail, but the irate and tireless minority who are keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. And I can't think of a greater minority on the planet than the individual. People are like, no, the biggest minority on the planet are people with dark colored skin, or they're yellow colored skin, or they're the Indians. No, it's the individual. It will always be an individual. There is no smaller minority on the planet than the individual. If you don't champion the cause of individuals, you can't say that you're for minorities. And then that gets you out of the cult of personality because you're for everybody. See, that's what we're going to talk a little bit about, this Matt Gaetz versus mainstream media thing about, you know, all the extortion for $25 million and his appearance on Tucker Carlson, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. Don't check yourself into the cult of personality. And then you can look at this thing without bias, without prejudice, objectively, not immersed in some kind of paradigm of the left or the right or team red or team blue. And then you can look at things clearly. You don't have a vested interest. You don't have a dog in the fight. You can look at it and apply truth and ask real questions. But Mike D, thanks for that super chat. I will, in the middle of this thing, I'll read out the super chats and at the end of the thing. Thank you guys. All we need to do is empower individuals with the right philosophy and the right information to opt out en masse. And that is exactly how you resist government. Peacefully. Opt out. See, the problem with government is they don't give you an opt-out clause. It's like, no. You're forced into this relationship. If you personally force somebody into a relationship with you, like let's say you force somebody into a sexual encounter with you, society rightly calls that rape. When you're in forcing somebody to engage with you sexually and they don't want that, you're raping them. That's what the government does to us every day. They're forcing us to pay more taxes. You don't pay taxes. They're extracted from you at the barrel of a government gun. It's under duress. You know, April 15th is coming up and there's a lot of people going, oh God, the taxes, I got to do my taxes. Oh man. And they're stressed out about it. Why? Because if they get it wrong, they're going to get a knock on the door of the IRS, or they're going to get a letter in the mail, and it's going to be warnings, and they'll continue to escalate. And it'll be like, hey, if you don't get this thing straight, we're going to seize your assets. We're going to seize you. We're going to throw your butt into a cage because you didn't pay us what you owe us. You don't owe nobody nothing, man. This ain't land of the free, home of the brave. It's land of the fee, home of the slave. So I like what Joe Salatin says here. We don't need a law against McDonald's or a law against slaughterhouse abuse. We ask for way too much salvation by legislation. All we need to do is empower individuals with the right philosophy and the right information to opt out en masse. And that right information is, hey, do to others what you would want done to you. And as soon as you see somebody not doing to others what they would want done to them, then that person's a criminal. You haven't committed a crime unless you leave a victim. No victim, no crime. So everybody knows that. Okay, so we got Nike. Nike suing the rapper Lil Nas X over Satan shoes that, quote, have real blood in the soles. First of all, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't put it past them to actually have real blood in the soles, but I just don't believe that. It just seems like it's a marketing gimmick. Anyway, they supposedly made just 666 of these and sold them for like $1,089 each. They sold out reportedly in less than a minute. Personally, I think that this Mischief Corporation that marketed this thing right here probably made way more than 666. Why? If you can sell 666 of them in less than a minute, why wouldn't you make double that or triple that or 10,000 or 20,000? Nobody else is going to know. Nobody's going to know that only 666 were made unless you can get everybody together in a stadium somewhere and there's 15,000. It's like, hey, we're all wearing the same shoes. Hey, they said there was only supposed to be 666 of these. I know a lot of these people probably bought them to resell because they went so fast. Other people are like, well, I'll give you $2,000 for it. So if you bought it for $1,000, you could, $1,018 a pair. Nike on Monday filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against New York-based company, you pronounce it Mischief, over its controversial Satan shoes collaboration with rapper Lil Nas X. The shoes are unofficial designs of Nike's trademark, and if you look at it, it looks like it's got a Nike swoosh on it right there. Nike's saying they didn't have anything to, they want to distance themselves from this. I don't know what to believe. Unofficial designs of Nike's trademark Air Max 97 design, though the shoe company, it didn't see, in this article, I think I read it a couple days ago. I've had it on my screen. I had it up since Monday, but I didn't see anything about them actually using unofficial designs of Nike's trademark Air Max 97. What about their trademark logo? Though the shoe company has said that it is not involved with the creation or sale of the shoes. The shoes, which contain, they say, a drop of human blood. That's just weird, man. That is just weird. Who would sell that and who would buy that? Or do we live in a messed up society or what? Human blood. Hey, let's put human blood in the sole of these shoes. And then people are like, hey, let's buy shoes with human blood in them. What kind of, where are we? Where are we with society right now? Went on sale Monday for $1,018 per pair. How do you justify buying a pair of shoes for $1,000? They are decorated with a pentagram. Of course, you can't go anywhere without a pentagram. And a reference to Luke 10:18, a Bible verse about Satan falling from heaven. It says something like, and I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Only 666 pairs were made available, they say. I think they lie. And all were sold out shortly after going on sale. You know, because the greed will take over human heart. And it's like, in 60 seconds, we sold 666 pairs. Make more shoes. The shoes drew plenty of high-profile critics, including South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. That just adds to the marketing campaign. Anybody who hates Kristi Noem is now going to go out and, you know, they're going to, hey, I didn't know I needed those shoes. $1,000 pair of shoes, that's pretty cool. I think I'll do it. And former Clemson University quarterback Trevor Lawrence, quote, our kids are being told that this kind of product is not only okay, it's exclusive, Noem tweeted on Sunday. I don't even know why governors get, look, this is the free market. You can sell whatever. If somebody's willing to buy it and you're not forcing them to take it, make whatever you want. Who cares? That's the free market. You know, some people could call this dangerous freedom, but I'd rather have dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery any day. The artist responded by writing, quote, and this is, I guess this is Lil Nas X. And then him getting involved with this is weird because anybody who would follow Kristi Noem and might want to follow Lil Nas, they get in this little political squabble and then they limit their market share, which doesn't make any sense to me. But people can't keep their mouths shut. You are a whole governor and you on here tweeting about some damn shoes? Do your job. Left versus right paradigm. Everybody's promoting it. Lil Nas X or Lil Nas or Nas X is not named as a defendant in Nike's lawsuit. Shortly after the lawsuit was announced, he posted a tweet showing a homeless Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants begging for change. Nike filed a trademark infringement and dilution complaint against Mischief today, not related to the related to the Satan shoes. We don't have further details to share on pending legal matters. However, we can tell you we do not have a relationship with Lil Nas X or Mischief. The Satan shoes, and this is Nike still talking, the Satan shoes were produced without Nike's approval or authorization, and Nike is in no way connected with this project. More smokescreen, more smokescreen. I am not going to read this Twitter post. You can read it. I'll read some of it. I don't know if it's true, but I wouldn't doubt that it is, given the censorship that we live under today. Look, apparently there was a Facebook group called this right here with over 70,000 members just disappeared overnight. We've seen that. We've talked about that. We've shown proof of that. Not for this particular thing, but things like it. Almost everyone on it had either taken you know what or had a relative who had. Question is, why would Facebook silence these people? I think that's a valid question. If you have a Facebook group set up specifically for, hey, what were your personal experiences? And you know what's interesting on this? I think I saw, and I know Sundar Pichai does not run Facebook. He's with Google, and Mark Zuckerberg is with Facebook. But I distinctly remember Sundar Pichai during that dog and pony show thing that they did. What was it? Sometime last week. It was last Thursday or Friday. Maybe they're still having it. I don't know. But Sundar Pichai specifically said, we do not take down content where people are giving their own opinions about something or their own experiences. I think that's untrue. There are people that have given their own experiences and it's taken down as misinformation, MED misinformation. So why would Facebook silence a group? And of course, a group can be infiltrated by people who just say they had a bad side effect and really didn't. I understand that. But you got to admit, there's got to be some people in this over 70,000 members who actually had a bad experience that they really want you to know about so that you can escape the snare that they stepped in. So the question is, why would Facebook silence these people? What's happening they don't want you to hear? This is the danger of censorship because there is vital information that people need to hear. There are people walking around in ignorance and in such ignorance that they are more than happy to show their donut and show their you-know-what card, and they are absolutely pleased as punch that they went through and got their you know what, just a little pinch. That's all it was. Just a little pinch. Felt just kind of a little sting. Next day, I was feeling a little under the weather, had a little headache. Well, some people have they experience something more severe than that. Up to and including, well, they're not with us anymore, so they can't tell you. Just a real quick word on this Representative Matt Gaetz, because a lot of people are going like, hey, what do you think about this? Trisha and I looked at this for like 10, 15, we probably talked about it for like 20, 25 minutes today. All I have to say about this Matt Gaetz versus New York slimes versus MSLSD and mainstream media is it is another part of the dog and pony show. Here's the deal. Mainstream media is evil. We know that. You pretty much can't get more evil than say you have weapons of mass destruction, waste, which was untrue and is still untrue, waste trillions of tax cattle dollars and millions of lives. Millions. Not thousands, not tens of thousands, millions over the course of 20 years. You pretty much can't get more evil than that. So you have mainstream media that we know they've proven themselves to be evil, and you got politicians that are slimy like Matt Gaetz. You're going to tell me you trust this guy or any politician? You might need your head examined. So you got mainstream media versus politician. If you're not drinking the Kool-Aid, if you're not checked into the cult of personality, if you've not subscribed to the left versus right paradigm lie, then you can look at this thing objectively and go, I would not put it past a politician to actually be running a child sex ring. I don't care who it is. I don't care, Democrat, Republican. You want to go on the Democrat side, you got plenty of people that can be, implicated in child sex things. Same on the right-hand side. And the first guy that pops into my mind on the Republican side is Dennis Hastert. For 8 years, he was Speaker in the House. That's second in line for the president. If the president goes down and the vice president goes down, he slips into the presidential position. A federal judge declared that Dennis Hastert was, quote, a serial child molester. A serial child molester, second in line to be the president of the United States as Speaker of the House for 8 years. Republican. So don't give me this, well, he's a Republican. He can't possibly be, there can't be any truth to the fact that he's running a child sex ring or whatever. And besides that, how are you being investigated for child sex trafficking if you just went to another state with a 17-year-old? Am I condoning that kind of activity? Absolutely not. But it seems a little overblown to me. And if you're gonna open the can of worms of child sex trafficking, open the whole can of worms. That's what Washington, D.C. is all about. The biggest child disappearances, in the top 5 child disappearances, happens to be around the Washington's District of Criminals area. So if you want to open up this case, okay, we'll talk about it. But you pretty much can't get lower on the rung of humanity. From the moral perspective, you can't get more slimy. You can't not just bottom of the barrel, but under the barrel. You can't get lower than politicians. You just can't. So that anybody's out there going, no, I trust this politician. And who's it? Marjorie Taylor Greene's going, I stand with Matt Gaetz. Guys, don't stand with anybody but truth. That'll keep your ass out of hot water more than anything will. You're going to sit there and tell me that you don't think Matt Gaetz is capable of lying to the American public? You're going to sit there and tell me that CNN and MSLSD, who are raking this guy over the coals, don't have a vested interest in just stoking the fire so that they can increase all their ratings and enrage and continue to divide us, Republican and Democrat? You know what I got a question of? Instead of focusing on Matt Gaetz and MSLSD and all this garbage, why not let's focus on getting rid of the IRS and the Federal Reserve? Has any organization done more harm to humanity than the Federal Reserve? If you know of one, let me know, because I don't know of it. Because they're in cahoots with the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberg Group. They're siphoning all the money from the IRS, which is the biggest domestic terror cell Americans or the world has probably ever seen. They're all working in cahoots together, and we're going to sit here and focus on Matt Gaetz and the war between mainstream media and this guy, and is he, child sex trafficking? Did his father really wear the wiretap? It's nonsense. All right, here's the main event right here. Somebody sent me this, and guys, listen. While I will criticize, the cops here and the person who made this video, it is for construction. It's constructive criticism, and it's aimed to secure more freedom, not just for Americans, but for people in the world. Because like I said, when we first started this video, it's not the majority who will prevail, but it's the irate and tireless minority who are keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. The intent for this live stream right here is that we actually dialogue about what we're seeing here, because I could be seeing this completely wrong. But there's a lot of things that these two cops say, and here's a spoiler alert. In my mind, there are a lot of things that these two cops say that is right in line with securing and identifying individual liberties. And there's a lot of things in my mind that the cameraman says that's wrong. And I kind of wish I hadn't said that, because I want you guys to come to your own conclusion. But I don't think that's gonna influence your minds, because I think that you guys are all critical thinkers. So let's take a look at this. This is an 11-minute video, but man, this is so freaking interesting to me. I watched the first minute and a half, and I was hooked. I was like, okay, I want to see where this is going, because there's some psychological operations going on. There's like a 3-way psychological operation going on that you kind of have to weed through. And the way you can successfully navigate through it is by just keeping your mind focused on, okay, what is freedom? Are we free to run our businesses the way we want to? Are we free to interact with who we want to? Are we free, if we are business owners, to discriminate however we want to? And an opposite question is, if we're not free to do that, are we truly free? Okay, check this out.
I'm doing this for my protection. Okay.
For what?
Okay.
For what?
So this is Mavis Discount Tire is a place of public accommodation.
Okay.
It's opened the doors to the public.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
He refused.
You can't. You can't be in there without a mask.
Says who?
Says the state of New York.
Says the state of New York. Okay. So do you know?
Okay. Now this right here gets a little confusing right here, because we're talking about two things. We're talking about the edict from the state of New York that this cop just said, and the guy who has the camera right here is going to say, well, no, that's not what the edict from the governor is. And then the other thing we're talking about is, what is a business owner free to do or not do? So there's two things going on here, and sometimes it goes fast and it's easy to miss certain things, and then things get conflated, and then, the trajectory gets all off and you're off into the weeds. So I just want to clarify that. Maybe it didn't.
But do you actually know what the executive order by Cuomo says? Because I can read it for you. This is the executive order.
Gotta have a mask.
Okay. No, it doesn't. Here, no. Can I read it to you?
He doesn't want to serve you. He's within his right not to serve you.
Okay, so now we're talking about the second thing came out of the cop's mouth. First thing is, well, it's the law. It comes straight down from government. That's just the way it is. The second thing that he said was, and both of them, they're mutually exclusive and diametrically opposed. One is an edict that comes down from government. The other one is a desire or lack of desire to service a member of the public coming from business. So we talked about two different things, but it gets a little bit more clear here in a second.
Not within his rights. He's violating my civil rights.
Okay.
You, as an officer of the law, should know that. You are a law enforcement officer, so you should know the law. You should know the law, but you're ignoring it. Even Governor Cuomo's executive order, which I'm holding in my hand, here it is. It says clearly, anyone over the
okay today?
I'm sorry?
Are you feeling okay?
I feel fine.
You do.
I'm healthy.
Sure about that?
Yes, I'm totally healthy. I'm totally.
I hate when cops do that. When you're disagreeing with them, they're like, hey, you okay today? How much have you had to drink today? Hey, you don't seem right to me. Your eyes kind of look weird. And they do all this subjective psychological operations on you. I can't stand that this cop started doing that.
Completely healthy. And it seems, as an officer of the law, you have no
You seem a little off. You seem a little off.
I'm a little off.
You seem a little off.
I'm a little off.
Seems like
How am I a little? What does that mean, a little off? What does that mean exactly?
Seems like you're not understanding concepts.
Okay, what is the concept, officer?
You can shut it off now. You've had it on long enough now. You can shut it off.
No, there is no long enough, officer.
Okay.
There is no long enough. You should know
That
this.
request-
It's a First Amendment right.
Listen,
Go
you
ahead.
can't
Oops.
go in without a mask. That's the end of it.
That request by the cop to turn off your camera is way, way off base. Now, he can make that request, But the question is, why did you make that request? Are you about to do something to me that should be recorded? Because it doesn't look like he's got a body cam on here. Always, always, always record any interaction with police. Always.
You're free to leave. You're not being held at all. You're not being stopped.
Okay.
You could go. They don't want to serve you. They're within their right not to serve you.
So they can.
Okay.
So
they can
if
refuse service to whoever they want. It's a
so, if someone
business.
came in here,
Okay, so is that right? Let's just stop real quick. Is that right? Can any business refuse? Put a 1 in the room if you agree with that. Can any business refuse service to anybody they want for any reason? Put a 1 in the room if you agree, a 2 in the room if you disagree. Can a business owner refuse service to anybody for any reason? I'm talking about under the framework of just being free. I'm not talking about legality or illegality. I am just talking about, is a business owner free, legitimately free to serve whoever he wants to and deny service to whoever he wants to? Okay. I totally agree. I agree with the ones in the room. Yes, I totally agree. If I own a business, I can choose to serve you or not serve you, and I could give any reason under the sun. Your hair's not short enough. You're the wrong skin color. You don't look right. You're ugly. I don't want to serve you. I am absolutely free to do that. Apart from whether the government thinks that I can or not. I am an individual. If I am not free to deny you service for any reason, I am not free. Well, why do you say? I want to know why the 2s are in the room. Why do you think that a business it does not have the freedom to deny whatever service? No, they cannot. Truth is freedom. Then can it be said that you're truly free if you don't have the right to deny whatever service? I don't understand the 2s in the room. And there's a lot more 2s in the room than I thought there would be. Let's see, who says 2? Joe Fish says no. They don't have the right to refuse service. So, okay, so Ronan Return says 2. That's discrimination. Aren't you free to discriminate? If you're not free to discriminate, can you really be said to be free? Like if I went to a black-owned hamburger shop and they said, hey, we don't serve honkies here. You're the wrong color skin, boy. You just head out the door. Should I call the cops and force that business owner to serve me against his will and without his consent? He doesn't want to do business with me, but I want to do business with him. So I'm going to make him do business with me. What does it matter to me if I get discriminated against? I'll just go to another hamburger. That's a good way to ruin your business, but they're free to ruin their business, aren't they? Yeah, we're not talking about corporations. That just conflates things. I understand Tim Kramer, and I had this conversation too with Trish, and we had a pretty good discussion. When you're talking about a corporation that's actually getting tax cattle dollars and there's government subsidies and strings involved, well, you're not talking about a private business. You're talking about a public business. Yeah, it doesn't matter about the business license. Licenses are government. That's all government stuff. Licenses and legality and illegality, that's all government. There's no such thing as legal and illegal. It's all fiction. I'm talking about in the land of reality. Are you not, if you're not free to discriminate, are you truly free? All businesses have the right to refuse service. Why? Because it's in accordance with true freedom. What about the baker refusing to bake a gay wedding cake? It's his right. Totally agree, critical thinker. Yeah, it is his right. You can deny service for any reason. Any reason. And there should be no legal recourse that they have. And when I say legal recourse, I'm talking about seeking damages because you hurt my feelings. I wanted your hamburger. Now I'm going to sue you for $1 million because you didn't serve me. If you deny somebody service, you haven't created a victim. You haven't harmed somebody. You might have hurt their feelings, but what is that? Get over it. YouTube can deny service too. Obviously, let's see. Free to ruin your business when you get bailed out from, let's see. Trying to keep it on. Any good business owner will just serve anybody. Exactly, Fred. I totally agree. Totally agree. But you're free to be a bad business owner. So let's go on here.
It's not public space.
It is a place of public
not.
accommodation.
That's your
so
opinion.
That's not my opinion. It's a
That's
fact.
your opinion.
No, it's not an
that's your
opinion.
opinion.
Because he's operating in the public, but every business is operating in the public. And can you not pick and choose? So you're saying, let's see. We all discriminate, says watching you once tied in the, man, we should have a call in. We should have a call in. This is hard to do. There's no need to enforce so-called anti-discrimination laws in this age, and an age of people that discriminate. Own a business, people just won't go to that business, and the business will go under. Break it or make it. Yeah, that's called the free market. The government gave me free reign. Let's see. Yeah. But discriminate. Are you not free to discriminate? If you're not free to discriminate, then what's the alternative? Oh, force somebody to not discriminate. So now we bring the element of force, government force and violence. You discriminated, we're going to penalize you. So you're not free to discriminate?
So you just said they can make any rules they want. So if a person came in a wheelchair, they can say, you can't come in here.
That's right. They can.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. A business owner has the right to be an a-hole with his own business. He has a right to discriminate with his own business. He has a right to go nose down on his business and just drive that thing into the side of the mountain. Because as soon as people hear, oh, you're not going to change tires for somebody because they're in a wheelchair, I'm not doing business with you. That's no real. They have the right to do that. They have the right to do it.
Oh, well, yes, absolutely. Okay?
Wow.
Absolutely. All right. You can't go in there.
They
without a
can
mask.
actually say, do you hear what you
Sure.
just said?
Yes,
That
I
if a
do.
person came in a wheelchair, they could say that.
It's their business. They can run it how they
Yeah, Awake A says you can discriminate, but you will most likely have negative consequences. Exactly. And that negative consequences will come, quite possibly, will come from the free market.
want. If they don't, if you don't like their rules,
Then
that's
go
a shame.
somewhere else.
Yes, exactly. You have
Wow.
that ability to go somewhere else. This is not the only tire place on Long Island. You could go wherever you want.
Okay, I guess I'll go to an.
I agree with what that cop said right there. Now, when we get to the 8-minute mark, we turn a corner. And also, you know what's interesting about this? You're going to sit there and this cop said just right there what is in accordance with freedom. Okay, he's basically saying, hey, they have the right to deny you service for whatever reason. They can be, and the other cop's going to come and pretty much echo the same thing. They can be a-holes if they want to. They'll probably feel the wrath of the public if they start doing that kind of stuff, and they're going to lose a whole lot of business, and then they won't be in business. So I agree with them on that point. But are you going to sit there and tell me that this cop during Cuomo's shutdown, this is in New York, during Cuomo's shutdown, were these cops that in accordance with the Constitution, that they weren't enforcing shutdown of non-essential businesses? I doubt it. So when they speak truth, they speak truth. This is an excellent example of badged criminal, boys in blue, thin blue line cult gang members saying the right thing, but their actions do the exact opposite, and many, many times.
Another place. But
Absolutely. Go ahead. Be
Officer,
free to go.
Officer Mark,
Be free to go.
That's really
Go ahead.
scary.
It is scary.
It's really
But
scary that
you know what? You're not understanding the concept.
I'm
concept
not
of business.
understanding the
No.
concept. Okay.
No.
All
So
right.
You're free. Go on your way. Go.
I hate to agree with the cop on that, but he's right on that
Okay.
point.
There's another one in Mineola. Feel free to take your business
Elsewhere.
because
So
they
it's
don't
okay
want to serve
because
you.
it's okay for them to
And you're not
discriminate
getting the
against people.
concept. That's why
Good
you
afternoon.
were okay.
Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
of course, truth is freedom. That's not what we're talking about, though. That I know of, this business didn't take tax dollars. Like Walmart, for example. Walmart is a corporation. Walmart gets government subsidies. Government subsidies amount to the public is forced out of their money, and it's shunted over to Walmart to the tune of $7 to $9 billion. Walmart is a different kind of animal than just a private company. So I agree with corporations. They don't really have the right to tell people what they can or can't do or deny service.
I think
Officer
he's having some
Fortunato.
mental issues because he's not understanding concepts of business.
All right.
He has
Yeah,
all
this is a
these
place of public
paperwork.
accommodation.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
It's
Yeah,
private
it actually
business.
It's
No,
a private business.
It's a
Yeah.
private business that is a
private.
And
that is
private business get to set rules. Just like you can't come in with no shirt on or
Well-
no shoes on.
well, your
Yeah.
partner or whatever, your colleague here, just told me that it's okay that if a person came in with a wheelchair, they could refuse to serve them. He
Yep,
just said that.
absolutely.
See, he just
Absolutely.
said it.
Absolutely. They face
God, that sounds so bad, but that is dangerous and stupid freedom, frankly. It is stupid freedom. It's heartless freedom. It is it's not good business sense freedom, but it's still freedom. Under freedom, you can do stupid things with your own autonomy. You can use whatever room of freedom that you have to be as stupid as you want to be. That's not going to look good for the public if you deny service to somebody who's disabled. But you're free to do it. And government should not intervene and force a private business to serve anybody at any time for any reason. Otherwise, now you're getting into tyranny.
It's the repercussions if it is against any laws or anything.
If it is against the law, you guys are law enforcement officers.
Yeah.
This is really scary.
Okay.
It is scary. I know.
It
It's
is
a
scary.
Scary world,
It's a
we're
scary
in.
world
You gotta
we're
wear
in
masks
now.
everywhere, obviously. It's a
Yeah.
No,
scary
you
world.
don't have to wear a mask.
You are private businesses. That's what makes this country great.
That's what makes this country great. So if the governor of a state of
Right,
New
here we
York
go.
says, because you have to wear a mask, you have to follow his orders.
Well,
This
yeah,
is Nazi
state rule.
Germany then. That's not a great country.
So would you rather the police go into this business, this private business, and tell them what to do?
I would rather you respect my civil rights. And as law enforcement officers, you should respect.
The cop asked a really good question. Would you rather, because it does sound like the guy who's holding the video camera is requesting that these cops do something. That's something you never want the cops to do anything. That's our problem is law enforcers are enforcing unjust, immoral, cruel, just downright evil laws. The less they do, the better off we are. But you can't deny that what this cop said is true. Do you want us to go in there and make this private business serve you? No, I don't want you to do that. Thanks. Be on your way, officer. Good point.
That's my
So
right.
you're saying, as an officer, I should go in there and tell them how to run their business?
If they're not following the law, and
They
the
are.
law,
Well, they are following the law.
no, they're not.
See, that's the thing is, I would never champion the cause of businesses need to follow the law because saying a business, businesses represent people. There are people that own businesses. So when you say you want a business to, quote, follow the law, you're saying, I want you, business owner, to be in subjection to and submit to government edicts from government authorities. That's not freedom. So I have to disagree with the guy who made this video. No, I don't want businesses to follow, to be forced to follow any law. That's called tyranny. If they can't opt out of following the law, you are not free.
Yes, they are, technically, by the governor's rule.
Okay, do you want to read? This
I
is.
don't want to
This
read
is.
anything you
Of
have.
course you don't want to
I
read.
don't even know what you have there. That's okay.
Now the cop just, that's not good. That's not good in debate. It's like, okay, what you got? If he really has the governor's edict and these law enforcers are swearing to uphold the law, it might be a good thing for him to listen to. That's just unreasonable.
It's
You
from
printed that from
it's
God
from the
knows
state of
where.
New York. This is the
Okay.
executive
Listen,
order.
I'm with you. I don't understand the mask, but that's the law. That's the rule.
It's not the
If
law.
It's not okay to discriminate. Okay, so Grab It Hard says it is not okay to discriminate, Brian. Stop arguing for tyrants. Saying it's not okay to discriminate is arguing for tyrants. I'm saying it's so you can do whatever you want to with your freedom up to and including discriminate. Saying you can discriminate is not arguing for tyrants. It's arguing for freedom. If you say it's not okay to discriminate and the government should come in and stop discrimination, that's arguing for tyrants. So I don't understand. Yeah, it doesn't matter about the Civil Rights Act of 1914. It's a law. It's a law that runs contrary or has redundancies to natural law. We're talking about natural law.
you don't like
It's
this,
a
neighbors,
policy.
This is
It's
what,
not
this
the
is
law.
What the best thing. This is what the best thing about free market government is.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't
A
like
New York cop, I think about the irony of this. A New York cop is going to give a dissertation on free market, constitutionalism. That's just okay. Go ahead, free market cop.
the rules, you get to not come here anymore, and their rules might maybe or maybe not affect their business.
In other words, you can opt out, but when a cop interacts with you and he doesn't want you to leave, you can't opt out of that. So while what he's saying is true, it is in utter hypocrisy.
So that's the best thing about the free market. It's great. That's why this country is so great.
That's
you don't
why
like
this
people's
country's
rules?
so great.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why if this.
okay.
That's why if this place said I don't want to serve police officers, they have every right to. And you know what I would do?
And you think that's okay?
I think a private business has every right.
To
That's what
say
makes this
we're
country
not
great.
going to serve a police officer, you think that's okay?
I think it's great because you know what? I
Wow.
don't want
See,
to live.
the cameraman doesn't think it's okay. If this business says, hey, we don't serve police officers here, that is okay. Why would that not be okay? What am I missing here? People don't fully understand the meaning of freedom. How do we know the guy doesn't want him in the building? Cops lie. Of course cops lie. Yeah, of course this is all in hypocrisy. But you can't deny that if that business doesn't want to serve cops, they are free to not serve cops.
Live in a country where a police officer can tell a private business what to do and not with their business.
I want to play that.
But
I want
this
to play that back again.
So great.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. If this.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
why if this place said I don't want to serve police officers, they have every right to. And you know what I would
and you
do?
and you think that's okay?
I think a private business has every right.
To
That's what
say
makes this
we're
country
not
great.
going to serve a police officer, you think that's okay?
I think it's great. Because you know what? I
Wow.
don't want to live in a country where a police officer can tell a private business what to do and not with their business.
And that's the hypocrisy, because what have New York cops been doing during this shutdown? All the businesses that the governor has declared and the politicians have declared non-essential, the law enforcers are outside of those businesses making sure they stay shut down. You're going to tell me this cop right here, and we've seen video after video after video of the New York Police Department surrounding businesses so that they cannot be open, and forcing businesses into closure, and forcing businesses to shut down at curfew. So while what he said is right, I don't want to live in a country where law enforcers determine what businesses can or can't do. I agree with that, but this guy's an absolute hypocrite, because he and his thin blue line gang have been involved in nothing but going against people's freedom to do whatever they want to do with their own business. Interesting. This is such an interesting video, and there's psychological operations on so many levels, and you can completely sidestep all the snares and all the pitfalls if you just keep your mind set on dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery.
Wow. But this is really amazing. This was very eye-opening.
I
think it's the best
part. I think it's the best part of our government.
And I appreciate 9/11 Jedi being out here and doing this, but I have to disagree on the grounds of freedom. It doesn't matter about legality. It doesn't matter about illegality. It doesn't matter what the governor said. It just matters what the truth is. I am a business, for example, and I am not going to serve you because you have blonde hair and blue eyes, or I'm not going to serve you because you have a double chin, or I'm not going to serve you because you don't talk the way I want you to talk, or you don't smell the way I want you to smell. I can deny you service for any reason, and there shouldn't be any repercussions. I should be able to run my business to the ground if I want to. That's the freedom that is against tyranny.
Wow. Okay. Well, one day you're going to have to explain to your kids and your grandkids when this country turned into Nazi Germany, you were part of it.
I think if I live in a world where the police, the Gestapo could come in and tell businesses what to do, I don't want my kid living in that world.
You're telling me?
So he said something that's true, that their actions completely go against. You know, this officer has been involved in interactions where people don't want to interact with the cops, but they force them against their will and without their consent to do. You know, these cops have been involved in shutting down businesses and doing what he just said shouldn't be done. And it's the hypocrisy is off the charts.
What to do?
No, I'm not. I'm not telling you to. They're telling you to.
They're telling me, and you as an
private
officer of the
business.
law,
It's their business.
with
It's their
business.
with a gun on your holster, you're telling me what to do.
I don't know what you want. You want us to. So what would you like for us?
I would like you to support and defend the Constitution of the United
So
States, which
you
you
think
swore to
part- you
uphold.
think
Did you swear to uphold the Constitution?
Yes. So you
did.
think part of the Constitution is me going in and telling a business how to run themselves? So
It's-
should I go in there and say you didn't like the way they charged a flat tire to fix your flat tire? You want me to go in there and tell them what to charge?
You just told me that it's okay to discriminate against people in a
And
real.
Somebody's saying 9/11 Jedi is in the room. That's good. Good. Yeah, man, I don't understand why I don't understand why you're against that. It just sounds like maybe you. I don't know. I don't know why you're against the correct things that this guy's saying. Of course, I'm against the hypocrisy. Yeah, let's talk 9/11 Jedi. Love to.
Discriminating against you? I didn't say that.
Well, your partner did.
Okay, that's okay.
You did what?
I wasn't here.
No. I am not saying 9/11 Jedi is dumb. I am not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I disagree with the angle that he's taken here. And there are certain things that the cops are saying that are lining up with individual liberties. While they're saying it in hypocrisy, what they're saying on certain parts of this is true. They're going to turn this massive corner at the 8-minute mark, but I just want to make that clear. I'm not calling 9/11 Jedi dumb at all. Not at all. I don't think that I'm better than him. I have a disagreement with him, and we can enter into that dialogue. No problem. No harm, no foul on that. Yeah, I just think there's a misunderstanding, and there's some backwards, there's some things that need to be talked about. That's why I'm doing this video. That's why I think it's really vital to discuss this.
It's within their right to
It's within their
not
right to do-
serve whoever they please.
And guess what?
Whatever
within their right.
So,
And guess
if
what
they
you
don't
just
want to
did?
serve a person because of their race or color or religion, that's their right. You just said it.
They're right.
It's
Now, will
their
they
right.
be in business after that?
And guess what? They
Probably
wouldn't be in
not.
business.
Probably not.
And that's why I said
the
what's so great about our free market.
Yes, exactly.
Now you go online, you show this video, you say this place makes you wear your mask, and guess what? All the people that don't agree with you won't come here, and they lose business for it.
I think he meant all the people who agree with you won't come here.
Or maybe the people who like to wear masks do come here, and they gain business. But that's the free market. And that's why our country is so great.
That's why our country's so great. Wow.
We let private
Okay,
business
America,
do what they, we
let the officer
private
tell you why our
businesses-
country's so
we
great.
let private business do what they want. I'm not going to come into your home. I'm not going to come into a business and tell you how to run it. It's not.
I wish that was true. I mean, that's good. That's a good thought, officer, but it's not true. Because you do come to homes and you tell us how to run our homes, tell us what we can or can't put into our own bodies, whether you're essential or essential, whether you should be open at 10:30 or close at the curfew at 9:30. Yeah, I wish he really stood by his words. That'd be great. His words are right. The actions just don't match it, though. 9/11 Jedi, real quick question for you. Do you actually believe that a business is not free? Just answer yes or no. Is a business free to serve or not serve whoever they want to with no repercussions from the government?
It's not Nazi Germany, like you said.
Actually, Enlightened Mystery, it is not a pointless video at all. This is a very relevant video because most people do not understand the concept of freedom. And when we talk about when we're entering into the arena of discrimination, people welcome tyranny because it's like, oh, we can't discriminate. Of course you can. You are absolutely free to discriminate against whoever you want to. You are absolutely free to start a black supremacist cult, a white supremacist cult, an Asian supremacist cult, a J supremacist cult, whatever. You are absolutely free to do that. What you are not free to do is reach out your hand to harm another individual or steal their property. You're not free to do that. My freedom ends where your nose begins is the basic concept.
Wow.
Yeah, it's your opinion.
Yeah.
That's your opinion, and you're welcome to.
Yep.
Okay, and you're welcome.
Just
to your
like
opinion.
just like if you came in here with no shoes on or you came in here naked, that place could tell you what to do and what not to do.
True.
Right? You got to wear a shirt in a business, right? Is that a crazy rule? Maybe sometimes you don't want to wear a shirt. but
Wearing a
that's the
mask is
rules.
a crazy rule.
That is a crazy rule. I'm not against it. I get it.
I agree with that.
I have no- I have-
I agree with that. Wearing a mask is a pretty crazy rule.
No problem with either one of you officers right now. Neither one of you
But they can make a rule whatever they want to in their business.
who's wearing a mask, and I'm totally okay with that. I
All right.
totally respect
Well,
that.
we're 6 feet apart.
Yeah, we're outside.
Even if we
And
weren't
we're
6 feet
outside.
apart.
The government
We're outside.
rule is if you can't social distance, you have to wear a mask.
That's not the rule.
That's on the
That's
executive
what it says.
order?
No, it's not- here's what it says. Read the part in the yellow.
I can't. I'll be 6 feet. Then I gotta put the mask
Okay,
on.
I'll tell you what it says, and
All
you
right,
can look it up yourself
you
if you
look
think
it
I'm making it up. This is Executive Order 202.17. It says, effective 8 p.m. on Friday, April 17th, any individual over the age of 2 and able to medically tolerate a face covering is required. I'm not medically able to tolerate. I have a medical condition. I have the doctor's note with me, and this guy, that guy,
But
But they
assaulted
can
me.
literally say, because it's their business, and if they're free, they're free. If they're not, they're not. But they can literally say, Okay, you have medical. We still don't want you in here, medical exemption or not. What the governor's? You're saying that I need to adhere to the governor's rules? No, this is my business. I ain't adhering to governor's rules. If you can't wear a ritualistic shame muzzle, you can't be in here. They have the right to do that with their own business. Do I think it's stupid? Absolutely. I wouldn't run my business like that. That's crazy. They, of course, obviously, on some level, they buy into the HOAX of the planned organized partial shutdown of the U.S. economy in the second quarter. Hey, that's on them. They want to lose your business? Go to the next tire store.
Do you know what he did? The guy, he took out a spray disinfectant and started spraying at me. He should be charged with assault.
The great thing is, if they're violating your medical thing, sue them.
He should
sue them for they're discriminating against your medical. Just like if a guy would, like you said, a wheelchair came in here and they said they couldn't, they would sue. You got a nice lawsuit if you think. But unfortunately, they're telling you to get off. They don't want you, and that's the private business. Just like you have an absolute right to.
Yeah, well, if I did that, Jackie Alley, that's not my. It says Brian asks questions with yes or no and structures the question to suit whatever answer he wants. Well, not really. I'm like, what is free and what is tyrannical? Does a man have the right to tell another man how to run his business? Does a man have the right to force another man not to discriminate? I mean, I don't know how else to frame the question. I'm not looking for the easy way out. I'm just asking, what is freedom and what is tyranny? Does a man have the right to tell a man how he should run his business and what he can or can't do with that business? I say, no, he doesn't. He doesn't, because he wouldn't want that done to him.
Sue them for medical discrimination.
Guys, so when you go home, when you have time, please look up the definition of a public accommodation.
That's fine.
This is a place of public accommodation. It's not, you say it's a private business, they can do whatever they want. Not true. It has to be within the law.
And
it's not.
Sue them. You have a great case according to you. Sue them.
You'll win.
Mavis, big
You'll
company,
make
they'll
lots of
settle
money.
with
Go
you.
ahead.
You might get money from
Go
this.
ahead, yeah.
I mean, you seem like you're a confident guy. Sue them.
Go ahead.
I'm definitely going to file a complaint with the Department of Justice.
Definitely. Sue them. Better business.
See, filing a complaint with the Department of Justice, though, is going to the government and saying, hey, I need you to correct a wrong. If somebody's talking about civil versus criminal, basically you're going to government is illegitimate, guys. Government is illegitimate. To ask the government to go and officiate on a civil or criminal matter for you is asking a criminal organization to do something on your behalf when that criminal organization is inherently illegitimate. Illegitimate. If there was anybody who wasn't qualified to officiate criminally or civilly, it is your state, local, and federal government. If I'm wrong, I want to hear it.
Bureau, this is actually the town of North Hempstead. You can file a complaint with them. Do it. That you have every right to. But unfortunately, this private business that owns this parking lot, that owns this business, is telling you to leave, so you have to leave.
That's true. That is true. If it was your business and you didn't want somebody on your property, you wouldn't want any government involvement. Hey, let's all get along. No, I want you to. No, you need to serve me.
Well, tell the gentleman. First off, smoking cigarettes, I thought that was illegal. I saw two of the guys
file a complaint.
You're the police. You're here.
It's a violation.
You came to me.
At most, it's a violation of health. We don't do health. We violate health codes. If it's a violation, we have to see it in our presence. If you have it on video and you want a violation, in our presence has to be happening in our presence in order to enforce it.
Even though I don't like.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm not saying it would work in court. The court is the house, and the house always wins. The house and the cards are stacked against you in court.
Smoking cigarettes, and I never have. It's his right. If he wants to poison his lungs, it's his business.
It's almost over.
You're
One more
asking me
minute
to cut off my oxygen supply to go get a tire, and that's ridiculous.
That's the best thing about this country. We have courts.
That's the great thing about this country.
We can file.
Where did I say? Let's see. Miyu Ling says, Brian, make up your mind. Cops are okay, but government is not. I never said these cops are okay. There are things that the cops said that were right. And it's not right. They're not right because of the cops. And I also said what they said that was right is in utter hypocrisy. These guys in these costumes right here are criminals. Their job is to engage in criminal activity, to increase the coffers of the state, to take away your rights, and to take away more of your money. These guys are criminals. Does that mean criminals can't be right sometimes? Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So me saying that these government employees are right about some things is not an endorsement of these cops. I hope everybody understands that.
You have multiple departments where you can file complaints, and good luck. I mean, you seem like you're confident. I hope you win the case. But right now, we have a private business telling you to get off the property, so that's what we got to do.
Okay, I'm gonna get off the property.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna do that.
And they do
Okay.
so.
We do
All right.
it.
Yeah.
And you know, I know you guys think you're doing your job, but just remember something, guys. I'm pretty sure.
9/11 Jedi, people are wanting me to do a call in with you, so give me your number, contact@highimpactflix.com, and I will call you. Contact@highimpactflix.com, and I will call you, 9/11 Jedi. I'm going to open my email right now so I don't miss it. Let me know in the chat room when you've sent it, though, so I can give you a call. People want to hear your side of the story.
Sure,
Okay.
you swore an oath to uphold the
Yeah.
Constitution.
That's what we're doing.
Put a 1 in the room, by the way, if you want me to call 9/11 Jedi, who's the creator of this video right here, and talk to him and get his side of the story.
Now.
That's not what you're doing. You're
Just
doing
like
the
you have rights, this
you-
private business has rights.
You're doing the
Yeah.
exact opposite.
Okay.
Okay.
And please look
You
up
have a great day.
and you look
God
up.
bless
Have a
you.
great day.
Have a
God
great
bless
day.
you.
God bless you
God
too.
bless you. Have a great day.
And you know, while we're talking about God, go read
Have a great day.
2 Corinthians chapter
Yes,
3:18.
yes, okay.
Please do it.
Go ahead. Have a great day.
You might learn
Go ahead.
something.
You might too. Go ahead.
You have a great day.
Okay, that's the video right here. So, okay, 9/11 says he will. A couple 1s in the room. Civil rights. Okay, that's a lot of 1s. Okay, cool. So yeah, Jedi, I'll be looking for your email. Let me turn my phone on. All right, turning my phone on. So, all right, good. Got your number, Jedi. As soon as my phone warms up, it's turning on right now. Let me read some super chats. What? It's not letting me view my super chats? What the heck? Snook Ralston drops 25 bucks. Thank you. No message. No super chats? I know I saw some super chats. Hold on a second. What's going on here? That's weird. That is weird. Okay. Okay, I just opened my... Okay, phone is starting. All right, hold on 1 second. We're going to be talking with 9/11 Jedi. We'll get his side of the story. Stream health is good. Analytics. That's the first time I ever went into viewer activity and it's empty. And I know people set super chats, so let me see. Let me see if I can go all the way to the top here. All right, Zephirius Collins says 9/11 Jedi wants to call in. Please let him call in. We want to hear from both sides. Okay, no problem. And then I don't see, I don't know why it's doing that with the super chats. If you sent one, I can't see it for some reason. So I'll have to look at it live when you guys post one. Okay, so let me call 9/11 Jedi. All right, calling 9/11 Jedi. Supposed to be ringing. Says it's calling. Calling New York. Yeah, sorry about that, guys, with the super chats. What is going on with this? Oh, here we go.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. I appreciate you giving me a call.
Yeah, no problem. Let's hear your side of it. What I disagree with what you said, and I'd like to know just kind of your take on it.
Okay. Let me give me 1 second, because I guess you're talking to me, and like I still got the live stream on. Let me mute out the sound.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. With the super chat.
All right, guys. We are talking to.
Okay, so,
hold on 1 second. We are talking to 9/11 Jedi. He's the author, the creator of this video that we just watched with this interaction with these two New York cops. So go ahead, 9/11 Jedi.
Okay, so this happened this afternoon about 2 o'clock. Not too far from my house. Just went to get a couple of tires on my car, and what you didn't see in the video, because I didn't have my camera rolling, was the moment I stepped foot in the store, a young lady behind the counter started like, "Sir, you can't get it. You can't be in here. You got to wear a mask," and stuff like that. I'm like, "No, actually, I don't have to wear a mask." And Brian, like, just before, let me just preface this by saying, I've been following your videos for years, and I think if you and I like hung out and talked to each other, we'd be really cool. Like, we probably agree on like 98% of the stuff we would talk about.
Oh yeah, and let me say something real quick. I am not here. I didn't hurt your feelings or anything, right? I didn't make you get
not
you.
At all.
Okay, good. I am really.
Not at all. Fine. We're fine. We're cool.
All right, cool. Okay, so go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, totally. I'm not in any way here to attack you or say, "How could you say that about me?" Like, you don't agree. That's fine. It's okay to have differences of opinion, and it's all good.
Okay.
So anyway, this girl starts yelling at me about how I got to wear a mask. And by the way, obviously, I've followed your videos. I've seen you walk into, whatever, Walmart or stores like that without. You've walked into many stores without a mask. I know you have.
Yeah. Well,
I watched the videos.
Yeah.
I watched the video with the dentist. I saw the whole thing.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I have never worn a mask and never plan to. So go ahead.
Yeah, so all right, so there you go. So right there, Brian, you and I are on the same page.
Right.
Right? Because I don't wear them either. So when I walk into a supermarket or the post office, whatever. Okay. So I did what I always do, walked in, and I do. By the way, I do actually have a legitimate medical condition, which I don't even think I need to have one. Because I just think we should be able to walk in without a mask because it's our right to breathe.
Yeah.
And
Amen. I agree.
Just as you do.
Yep.
When you walk into, I've seen you do it a million times. So this girl starts yelling at me, "You got to wear a mask," blah, 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 blah. I said, "No, actually," I said, "I don't." And I said, "Look, I have a medical condition. I cannot wear a mask." And she just, "No, I don't care." She's like, not even like making any attempt to be polite. So she goes back to, to, I guess, her boss, who, I don't know, owns the store or whatever. And he comes, like, yelling at me instead of saying, "Excuse me," like, instead of being attempting to be nice, and "Yeah, really sorry about this, sir, but these are the," it just goes on the immediate attack and starts screaming at me, "We're not going to serve you. Get out of the store right now!" Like, he's screaming at me. Okay. Then I said, "You cannot violate the laws." It said Title 28, Section 36.202. By the way, people in the chat room had mentioned about, I'm sure you're familiar with Peggy Hall, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
HelpTheAmerican.org.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of the stuff I get from her. Now, is she right? I take things with me. When I go into a place of public accommodation, every time they keep saying it's private business, it's a place of public accommodation. And so they can't, whether you agree or disagree, there are laws on the books that say that as a place of public accommodation, and you can look up certain laws, that they cannot discriminate on you, like if you have a wheelchair, or because of your religion, or because you don't want to wear a mask, or whatever. Like, so you were saying, no, they're private business. They can do whatever they want. They can discriminate against whoever they want. So I would respectfully disagree with you in that that's not what the law says. When they say these things, you are required to wear a mask to walk in here. That is a policy. It's not the law. And we can have a 2-hour debate about what's a good law, what's a bad law. Should there be laws? That's a discussion for another day. So I'm just saying that when I walked in, I was trying to present to them the law, and I carry these things with me. When I go to any place of public accommodation, I have an envelope. I bring these things with me, including my doctor's note, like in case I need it, you know. And so, you know, this guy starts yelling at me. Then you're gonna love this. This really happened. He grabbed a can of, like, I don't know, some sort of disinfectant spray and started spraying it in my direction. Like, that's kind of like, now, the spray did not hit me. I'm not claiming that it did, all right? But that's kind of like a form of assault, all right? He literally, and I was like, so at this point, I'm like pissed. I said, well, I'm not leaving. I'm not going. He goes, oh, you're going to go. You're going to go. So I hung out and I waited, and look, and you saw what happened after that. The first police officer arrived, then the second police officer arrived, you know, and I just was like in awe. And obviously, Brian, you have done a ton of videos. I've probably watched everyone on police officers who are, you know, out of control. I've watched so many of your videos, you have no idea. So I'm like, I'm with you. We're cool, you know? So I understand what you're saying, that it's their, so what the cops are saying, well, it's their freedom, that they're business owners. But I guess where you and I maybe would disagree is that I would suggest to you that, you know, these terms of private business or public accommodation, as I see it, if you are a place of public accommodation, if you have opened your doors to the public, you cannot pick and choose who's allowed to come in. And you're saying, well, it's their freedom, it's their right to run their business as they see fit. But me personally, I don't believe that that's the case. I see it as a discriminatory issue, the same way if you went into Walmart in, you know, wherever, Oklahoma, and, you know, and they said, get out of the store. You cannot be here. You're not wearing a mask. Get out. Like, yeah. You would say, you would be okay with that?
Well, I would view Walmart. Walmart is a corporation. There's a difference between a private business.
So is Mavis Discount Tires. So is Mavis Discount Tires. They're a chain.
No. Are they a corporate? Are they a corporate?
Sure.
Wait. Are they a corporation that gets government subsidies? Because if you're a corporation, first of all, you can't be a corporation without the government. The second thing is the next level.
The United States is
the
United States is a corporation. I'm sure you know about that.
Yeah, of course. But what I'm saying is, if you're, see, there's a difference. If you open a mom and pop, let's say you and I opened, let's say you're really good at making hamburgers and I'm good at making tacos, and we start the 9/11 Jedi taco hamburger stand.
Taco hamburger stand. Okay.
Yeah. And we're not a corporation because we haven't gotten any kind of, special blessing from the government, and we're not getting any government subsidies. And then somebody walks in that we just don't like and we don't want to serve. You're saying that we can't operate as a human entity and deny that person service? We can't.
You know what? That's a great question, Brian. It's a fair question. And I guess for now, I have to think about it. I don't really have the answer.
For example, wait.
We just don't like this person because then you get into the whole thing. Well, why don't you don't like them? You don't like them because of the color of their skin. You don't like them.
No, it doesn't matter why we don't like them. I mean, we can give the reason if we want to because we're free to give it or withhold it. But the bottom line is we just don't want to serve you. Let's say we open 9/11 Jedi taco hamburger stand and we do not serve politicians. Are you saying that it's okay for the government to come in and make us serve politicians? Because I would say that you have a point. I think that's a fair point. And that's all I'm saying. And I think the confusion comes in when we talk about what did you call it? What did you call it? Public accommodation.
Public accommodation.
Yeah,
and I learned that term from Peggy Hall. I mean, like I started, and I'm saying that's it. And I've seen laws on the book that use that term, the place of public accommodation. So when we're talking about, the burger and hot dog stand,
that's public accommodation.
I don't know if that falls under, like here is, you've mentioned about Walmart is a corporation. Well, so is Mavis Discount Tires. I mean, I don't know if you have them in Oklahoma, but in New York they're very popular.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're out.
In my mind, and realistically, it's totally different. Like, for example, Walmart gets at least $7 to $9 billion of tax cattle money every year. So that would fall under, wait a second, you're getting my money and I don't want you to have my money. You are not a private business. Absolutely. By definition, if a corporation is allowed through the government to extort money from me, they cease to be a private business. You see what I'm saying? But if we have a hamburger taco stand and we're not getting subsidies from the government, in other words, tax cattle government is not keeping us afloat, we can do whatever we want to with our own business. Walmart is not in that same boat. I don't believe Walmart has the right to do whatever they want to with their own business, nor is Sam's Club or anybody affiliated with Walmart, because basically by the fact that government got involved and forced our funds into that to make that run in some way, shape, or form, that automatically is not a private business. So if we're just talking about private business that is not a corporation and does not get government funds, you and I can deny service to whoever we want to, and it's not government's business. So with the way I view public accommodation is, that sounds to me like a man-made governmental law. And what if we go, well, I'm sorry, sir, we're not going to serve you because we don't recognize man-made governmental laws. We only recognize natural law, and under natural law, I have the right to deny you service.
I follow you, and and just so you know, but I'm not saying you're wrong. You know, and like, that's what, why, I want to call and say, all right, let's have this discussion. Let me hear, your perspective. And I know, the way you think a lot of times, and like, I will give you props. Like, I've told people that, over the years, while I never vote for a Democrat or Republican, like, I always will write in a vote, just I'll write in a vote of somebody I believe in or whatever,
Yeah.
And, when I heard you once say that, voting is your written consent to have someone you don't know rule over you. And when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Like, I never heard it put that way. Damn it, you're right. Yeah. So why the hell we vote? So I do agree with you on a ton of stuff. And you've opened my mind to that issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, we're cool. We would get along on a lot of issues. And so I appreciate that you called me and let me on your show. And okay, you got me thinking.
Also, I want you to know that you have me thinking. When I saw this, I was like, oh, wow, this is, I am so glad you did this video, man. I am so glad. And as a matter of fact, there's 515 people in the room. Guys in the chat room, I'm going to drop this link. You guys got to watch this video. Give 9/11 Jedi props. He deserves the view. Let's just treat this as a learning experience. But here's an example from the room. Somebody just put something in the room about this. I really want to address this too. Dang, where is it? That went too fast. It's about the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That it's illegal. It's something about being illegal to discriminate. Legality and illegality is a construct of the mind. All laws are just the opinions of politicians backed by the threat of force. If you don't obey what they say, if you do what they tell you not to do or don't do what they tell you to do, that's where we get into the tyranny realm. And I know there are people in the room disagreeing with me, and that's fine. I want to be corrected, and I want to be on the right side of truth and freedom. But when people start making stuff like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the rule of public accommodation, we get a little bit it sounds good and it sounds like it's equitable, but is it moral? Is it moral to force a man who doesn't want to interact with another man, doesn't want the other man's money, doesn't want to serve that other man? Is it right for a third party to get involved and force that person to do something against his will and without his consent? For me, that's kind of the bottom line. You know what I mean?
I do hear what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah, you do have a point.
And I just found
you do have a point.
I just found it. Dave Sims says in the room, Brian, the 1964 Civil Rights Act says businesses cannot discriminate against any group. And I say that natural law pounds that to the ground, because the 1964 Civil Rights Act is just a man-made law. It doesn't have anything to do. As a matter of fact, it extinguishes freedom. If we want real freedom, then we have to be able to admit that we got to cope with dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, when I was interacting with these two law enforcement officers, I just felt like, they didn't know the law. They didn't care about the law. They only cared about enforcing tyranny. They didn't want to hear from me.
Yeah.
They were totally on the side of this guy who, was a maniac, and, wanted no part of saying like, hey, we understand your point. Like, obviously the second cop wasn't as bad as the first one. I think that's pretty clear. And, he kind of maybe diffused the situation because the first cop was just so, arrogant and,
right.
Yeah. I love when how about when he said to me, when he got out of his car, came over toward me, oh, and by the way, without a mask, and he came, I will tell you, he came much closer than 6 feet. I can assure you that. Okay. He came over to me, and now you got to remember, this guy's got a gun on his holster. Okay. I'm armed with a camera. He's got a gun on his holster, and he comes over to me and he said to me something along the lines of, I can go back and look. He said, all right, stop, shut up your camera. Like you filmed long enough.
No, I know. Yeah, I
didn't know the First Amendment had a timer on it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. I made a comment about that, and how about before he got out of the car, he's like, "Are you okay, sir? Something's not quite right about you, sir." Yeah, that's their MO.
Something's wrong with me. Are you okay? Because you're not grasping concepts. I'm not grasping concepts. Are you kidding me? If I'm calling the kettle black, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, people are bringing some stuff up in the room. Ralph C says, Brian, your feelings are not what we were talking about here. I agree. Did I mention feelings? It's not about feelings. It's about what is right and what is wrong. Somebody else said, how does natural law hold up in court? Guess what? It doesn't. But that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean natural law is wrong. There are a whole bunch of people. It is dangerous to be right when the government is so wrong. As a matter of fact, it's deadly to be right when the government is so wrong. But the thing that we can't do is have this knee-jerk reaction and go to the other side and fail to acknowledge that some of what these officers said was absolutely true. The business can do whatever they want to because that is what freedom is. But then you can't deny the fact that they said it in utter hypocrisy because these guys, these boys in blue, these thin blue line cult members are the first in line to shut down what they deem as non-essential businesses. So while some of what they said was right, they say it in utter hypocrisy.
Yeah. And I mean, you saw them. I mean, neither one was wearing a mask. And you even heard me mention to them that I had no problem with them not wearing a mask. I was totally okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I would be a hypocrite if I said, well, I don't want to wear a mask, but you better put it on, Officer Mark and Officer Fortunato. I was totally okay with it. But I feel like they have no right to come over to me talking about how, we got to do this, that, and the other, and they're not even following the laws,
Yeah.
And when I was in there, like I mentioned briefly, and I could, to be honest with you, I could give a crap if the guy wants to, light up a cigarette. Go ahead. You want to poison your lungs? That's your business.
Yeah.
But the guy obviously had to take his mask off to do that.
Yeah.
And so the guy who works in the store, he's not wearing a mask. He's going off on his break, and he's not wearing it. It reminded me of yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, when you went to the dentist.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're having a conversation with the dentist, the mask is under the guy's nose.
I know.
And he's talking about you got to wear a mask.
And you know what? That's so funny because hindsight is 2020. I really wish I had addressed that with him. It's like, you've been talking to me the whole time. You don't believe in the convids in 1984 because if you did, you wouldn't be wearing that ritualistic shame muzzle. And if you did believe it, you'd at least be wearing it right, and you're not doing either. Yeah, exactly.
And he wasn't doing either. Yeah, So these people are all the people who are. You got to wear a mask. Are the biggest hypocrites in the world.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's Governor Cuomo or Fauci or whatever. Like, they're all like, these laws, which they aren't laws, are for thee and not for me. That's the way these people are.
Exactly.
And you and I are on the same page as far as I'm not into the left-right paradigm. I don't like Democrats. I don't like Republicans. I get it. I understand the the divide and conquer, and I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we had a little bit of a disagreement, and we talked it out. And I see your point of view. Maybe you see a little bit of mine, and it's fine. It's all good, man. In the end, people like you and me, and a lot of the other people that have channels out there, we are fighting for the same thing. We want to go. We want to have a free country. We just want to be left alone and have freedom.
Exactly.
I want to be able to walk into a store without a mask and buy whatever goods or take part in whatever goods and services being offered by the store. That shouldn't even be an issue.
Yep.
It shouldn't.
I agree.
But what's going on in the last year is insane.
I agree.
Totally insane.
Man, thank you for your time. And I just want to say I love you, brother. I really appreciate you putting that video out, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk with you.
No, and thank you for calling me. That's why, I was in the chat, and I was going hey, Brian, I'm here. Because I turned on, I didn't even know it was on, and then I had gotten your email. I said, yeah, I wonder if Brian's going to do a video about my video. And then I turned it on, oh my God, he's doing it live. He's on live right now. So that's when I went in the chat and said, I'm here.
All right, man. Hey, thanks
so glad we had the opportunity to talk, man.
Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, hold down the fort there in New York, will you?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
It's a lot. I don't know how bad things are in Oklahoma, but yeah, things are bad here.
I know.
As you saw, a 10-minute example of it. We live in with Governor Cuomo, and and I live in the boundaries of New York City, and you got Mayor de Blasio, and so things are pretty bad here.
You're awesome, man. You got
So we'll take it.
You got 17 subscribers now. Let's see if we can get you up to 117 by the end of the night.
That might happen. Yeah, I know I had 17 today.
Get with I don't know how far away you are, but there's a guy in the room named Bacchus Shamil. He also lives in New York. Have you seen some of his videography? He does some a bunch of video stuff with a guy by the name of Kareem there in New York City. You guys should hook up and do a bunch of videos.
What's up? Give me the name. I'll write it down.
It's Bacchus Shamil. It's I got to write it down. See, BAKISHAMIL. Bacchus Shamil.
Bacchus Shamil. Okay, I'll look it up.
All right, man. Hey, you have a good night.
God bless you, Brian. Take
All
care,
right.
man.
You too. Bye. All right, I love that, man. And I know while there may be still some disagreement, guys, I think we can all agree on it's never right for any man to tell another man what he can or can't do, as long as that man, man B, let's say, is not harming or threatening to harm or stealing somebody else's stuff or damaging their property. Snook Ralston, you've got to be kidding me, man. Snook Ralston is just lighting it up on the super chats. $50, no messages, $40. That's crazy, man. I really appreciate the support. An unapologetic apologist says it's a false equivalency, Brian. Many of these business owners do not want to enforce mask policies. The government is forcing everyone to. Yeah, but that's not really the issue. The issue is, can they if they want to? Are they free to enforce whatever they want to and deny service to whoever they want to? Tyrant's Bane TDOA says, what's up, Brian? Haven't caught you in a live stream in a while. Things are getting thick out here, my friends. Is that Snapzilla? Snapzilla Gorilla? You changed your name? Snapzilla Gorilla's here. Tyrant's Bane TDOA. Snook Ralston with the super chat, and News Now Fort Worth as a super chat that says literally no comment. Dave Sims, email me your phone number and we'll talk. I don't have time tonight. I want to keep this under an hour and a half. We're already at hour 27 minutes, but get a hold of me. None of us is greater than all of us, guys. I learned from every single one of you. I am open. I just want to do what's right. And I want to do right by my neighbor. I want to treat you, whether you're in Mexico or Canada or the United States or New Zealand or China or Japan, I'm going to treat you like I would want to be treated. I want to be the neighbor that you would want to have living next door to you, so that if you and your family were away on vacation, we're going to watch your house, make sure nothing happens to it. If somebody invades your house, we got your six. And isn't that life? Is real life, true life. The good life, a happy life, is building those solid relationships where you can trust that person and they can trust you, and you're not going to betray them and they're not going to betray you, and you're there for them and they're for you. That's what life. What else is life, man? What else is life? So I really appreciate Jedi 911. Let's refresh his page. See how many subscribers. Here's the link to Jedi 911's video that we just went over. Give him some love. Let me refresh this page. He had 17. Oh man, what did I just hit? What just happened? Let me go back here. Oh man, what just happened? Here, let me get it back. Jedi 911's got 107. No, wait. 45 subscribers now. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for reaching out to Jedi. Let them know I sent you, and let's build an awesome community here, man. Snook Ralston, come on, man. $30 super chat and no messages. You got to at least have something to say. Exactly, bystander witnessed. You mean you're looking for humans? Yeah, let's make humanity great again. How's that for a shirt? By the way, somebody was asking about. Somebody came up with a really, really good design, and I said, "Dude, I'll design that for you." Well, let's see. Where is it? Let me see. Where is it? Somebody came up with a design about. I'm not anti-VAXX. I'm anti-lab rat. Let's see. Where is it? Right here. Here it is. Here's the new design, guys. Right. Let me size this down for you. And you can get it in any color. I'm totally anti-lab rat. But then you know what? If people want to exercise their freedom and become lab rats, remember the FDA uses the word in regard to the VAXX, which ain't really a VAXX if you look at Moderna's site, as an investigational product, experimental. You're taking the place of what animals usually do. How does that make you feel? You don't even have to tell anybody, you don't have to tell anybody what to do. Just go, how do you think you're going to feel at the end of 10 years of this when you've rolled up your sleeve and you've submitted yourself to basically being a guinea pig? So anti-lab rat is the new design there. And thanks to, I can't remember who came up with it. It was over on Odyssey. Oh, by the way, guys, you got to, the video that 911 Jedi was talking about, let me go to it right here. Where if you missed it, it's right here. This is the, wait, where is it? It's this one, right? What happened to it? Oh, I don't have my parameters set. It's this one right here, called Taking a Stand. I confront, it's actually not just me, but it's me and Trish, confront our dentist about his role in the you-know-what propaganda. Tyrant Spain says, yep, that's me, Snapzilla. I'm evolving and so must my name. Keep up the great work. I liked Snapzilla Gorilla. That was Tyrant's Bane is good too, though. Unapologetic Apologetic says, are they really free to if the government is... No, they're not. But I'm just saying, just because the government is involved in the equation doesn't make it right for them to do what they're doing, is the point. They don't have legitimate is not... the government is not legitimate. And like I said, and this is a truism. It's not just a cliche. It's dangerous to be right when the government is wrong. Government is wrong and a lot of heads roll. The government is the biggest death cult in the world. And all you have to do is look at the last century. Just look at the last 100 years alone. 250 million people died at the hands of government that the people who disarmed themselves for their government trusted in. That's bad stuff. Are they really free to if the government is forcing them? No, they are not. That's the point. Yeah, businesses should be free, but right now they are not. It's just dishonest to act like they're doing it willingly. Yeah, but you don't need to add to it and say that, hey, you business owner, you're not free to do whatever you want to with your own business. That's just compounding the problem. And that's what makes it irrelevant. That's what makes what you just said. That's what I disagree with about what you just said. It's not really the point. The point is what's right. What is right? And are you willing to die doing what is right? Are you willing to, die on your knees rather than, die on your feet rather than, are you willing to die on your feet than live on your knees? That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Bootlicker says, subscribe to Peggy Hall. I've endorsed Peggy Hall several times. She's got a lot of really, really good stuff. The point at which I disagree is where we try to treat legality and illegality as though it were something legitimate, and it's not, and just can never be. When you have let's say you have a law, the natural law says, do not harm somebody else that doesn't deserve to be harmed. Do not rape, do not murder, do not steal. That's natural law. We all know that. And the reason it's natural law is because we inherently know it's wrong. Why do we inherently know it's wrong? One of the big reasons is because we wouldn't want that. We wouldn't want to be raped. We wouldn't want to be murdered. We wouldn't want to be tortured. We wouldn't want to be stolen from. That's what makes it wrong, because you wouldn't want that same action done to you. So when we're talking about natural law, if a man-made law comes along and says, do not murder, well, that's just a redundancy. Why do you need a redundancy? Now, there are things to be worked out, like, okay, what if one of us humans murders another human being? Then what do we all agree should be the punishment? That's a completely different issue. Just because a man comes along and says, you shall not murder. Well, yeah, we already know that. It's just a redundancy. On the other side of it, you have laws that are evil. It is legal, guys. Think about it. It is legal to terminate a human being in the womb of his mother. It's legal to do that. Immoral, but it's legal. Legality does not equal morality. And in most cases, legality does not equal morality. And illegality doesn't equal immorality. And we've said this is just one of many examples. It used to be illegal to free slaves. Can you think of anything more moral than to release the chains of oppression from a fellow human being? I can't think of anything more moral to do. And yet there was a time in this country, and there is a time now in other places in the world, where it's illegal. You would be thought to be a criminal by the federal government in the 1800s, the early 1800s, if you freed another man's slave. If you freed a slave and just gave him his freedom and created something called the Underground Railroad, you would be considered a criminal. Illegality doesn't equal immorality in a lot of cases. So the appeal to legalism, or the appeal to, but we have government, is not really a good argument. But we have immorality now, so don't add to it. Don't add to the immorality. Resist it with everything that you've got. Snook Ralston, I cannot even believe it, man. That's just crazy. Another $30 super chat. That is just off the charts, man. Off the charts. I really appreciate it. 911 Jedi says, Brian, just thought of something. When YouTube deletes your channel simply because they don't like your opinion, isn't that their right, their freedom to do so? Yeah, it is their right and their freedom to do so. And they do it. They only do it while they break their own terms of service. See, me and YouTube entered into a contract. I agreed to do certain things and not do certain things, and it's a two-way street. Deleting somebody's channel when they've changed the terms of service on you and made everything vague is them breaking a contract between two people, and that is inherently wrong. Why? Because they wouldn't want that same action done to them. So while they're free to do it, it's not consistent with morality. It's very consistent with immorality. Unapologetic apologist says, let's go by, quote, natural law. Is it right to stand idle while government forces businesses to do something they don't want to do? You're saying, yes, it is. Is it right to stand idle while government forces businesses to do something that they don't want to do? You're saying, yes, it is. Is it right to stand idle while government forces businesses to do something that they want to do? It depends on what you mean by standing idle. If you speak against it, I don't view that as standing idle. It depends on what you're talking about, standing idle. And would it be right? Are you hurting something? Are you it's kind of like that video that we saw the other day. This is a good question, an apologetic apologist. That's a good question. But it's like that video that we saw the other day where that 65-year-old Asian woman got pummeled to the pavement by some passing stranger who had it in for her, and the security guards inside that building at 360 West, whatever, 46th Street or whatever, did absolutely nothing to help that person. Are they free to help or not help? Yes, they are. Would it be right for the government to come in and force them to help when they don't want to? No, it wouldn't. Was it wrong what that guy did to that woman? Absolutely, completely immoral. How do we know? Because that guy wouldn't want that same thing done to him unless he's a sadomasochist. And in that case, you don't even count those kind of people, because let's say somebody goes, no, yeah, I want somebody to cut me. I want somebody to bash me into the skull. We're talking about in the realm of sane humanity. So would it be right for the government to force those security guards to come to the aid of that woman? No. Do I view it as pretty messed up for them not to help that woman? Does that look like it's immoral? I would say that it is. Why? Because those security guards who did nothing would not, if they were that woman, would not want nothing done for them in their time of need. So it's not just do to others what you would want done to you. Don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. So, I mean, it's a good question, unapologetic apologist. I would say it depends on the circumstances and what you mean by standing idle. Is it right to stand idle while government forces businesses to do something that they don't want to do? No, I don't. On a level, I would say no. It's not right to stand idle. Like I don't think it's right for those security guards to have stood idle while that lady was being, basically she could have died, pummeled to death. So no, I don't think it would be right. Tyrant Bane says, if I go into a private business and the owner says, get out, we don't serve your kind here, boy, I leave, no problem. After I flip the bird, though. Yeah, it's exact. That's my view on it. The young philosopher says, I think the issue is that the business is becoming a state enforcer when executing the mask mandates. A cop is private also until working. Yeah, he's a private individual. Let's see. I think that the issue is that the business is becoming a state enforcer. In a sense, you're right. In a sense, they are. But they can do that. They're free to be a state enforcer. If you're not free to be a state enforcer, it's inherently immoral, because you're doing something that you wouldn't want done to you. It's like, hey, dude, I have a flat tire, and let's say like there's a lot of scenarios. Let's say 9/11 Jedi really, I mean, like he had a flat tire and he can't go to another tire store. He's got to get his tire fixed right there because he doesn't have a spare. As a matter of fact, he's got a spare in the trunk that's flat and it needs to be fixed too. He can't drive to another tire store. He's kind of stranded there. And it's like, dude, I want to do business with you. Can we make a concession? I need my tire fixed. Look, I'll stand outside. I'll respect your business rules, but can you fix my tire? Here, I'll give you, the money behind the glass or whatever. But I'm not wearing your mask. I'm not submitting to that, but I need the service. Can we work something out? And then try to arrange something, there's appeal to the guy's rational side or something. I don't know. Unapologetic. The government is forcing businesses to have mask mandates. Yeah. And that's wrong. You claimed it's their choice. I'm respectfully saying you're wrong because it isn't their choice. If it were, it still is their choice. They can see, that's our problem, is we keep complying with the government. What if we all stand up and said, no, we're not going to comply? You claim it's their choice. I'm respectfully saying you're wrong because it isn't their choice. If it were, then you would be correct. You still have a choice. Even if it's like that Rush song. If you've chosen not to decide, you still have made a choice. You're still choosing to submit to the government. So they do have a choice. It's just that they made the wrong choice for their business, but they still have the freedom to exercise that. I would love to be in just like a room where we can actually just talk about this. It's very difficult to do this over the chat. The government is forcing businesses to have mask policies. And yes, I agree they are. You claim it's their choice. I'm respectfully saying you're wrong because it isn't their choice. It is their choice. And they can, yeah, it is some under duress, but some, like there's a guy in California. It's in Red Bluff, California. His name is Carlos Zapata, and he owns a place called the Palomino Room. He has chosen to disobey government and go out and rally the troops of the other businesses to say, no, we got to stop this nonsense. So Carlos Zapata, you're saying, I respectfully disagree with you too, unapologetic apologist, because there are businesses who go, no, screw it. Like in New Jersey, that gym owner goes, no, we're not doing this. We're not following the ritualistic shame muzzle mandates. So it is a choice. It is a choice. Much love. I'm a longtime subscriber. You helped me get off the Trump train. Hey, thanks, man. Dude, email me and give me your phone number. Just like Dave Sim, email me, give me your phone number. We'll try to get I'll tell you what, there's 399 people still in here. If you want me to continue this conversation, put a 1 in the room, and we'll do like we'll have a couple people that we call, and maybe we can get on like a 3 or 4 way conference call and talk to people about this and iron some of this stuff out and come to a better understanding. I'm totally willing to do that. Put a 1 in the room if you want to see that. I appreciate you, unapologetic apologists, and I love it when people have these questions that really make you think. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to read this over and over and go, okay, what is the right position on this? Sometimes making the right choice will harm you, man. It's like, no, the government wants 30% of my income. I need that 30% to feed my kids, and then you make that choice. It's under duress. That, guys, nobody's paying taxes. We all give away the money because it's under duress, because it's the implied threat of force. The barrel of the government gun is coming to your house one of these days, maybe not this year, next year, whenever they run the audit. Men with guns will come to your house and they will force you out of your income. Nobody's paying taxes under duress. You don't pay a thief when he puts a gun to your head and says, give me your wallet. Here, I'll pay you. It's like he's taking it. There's no payment. You're not paying the thief to be a thief. Okay, so there's a lot of 1s in the room. Okay, so who I need to get in touch with? Let's see, it's Dave Sim and Unapologetic Apologist. Guys, email me, give me your phone numbers. I'll write them down, and we'll try to see if we can get something going. You guys asked great questions. I went over my hour and 30, but I think it was pertinent. I hope you guys got something out of this. I really appreciate it, man. I'm always enlightened and encouraged, and it just makes me happy to be here with people who actually are thinking outside the box and going, okay, what if this? What if that? You said this, and does it mean that? And what are we talking about here? Awesome stuff, man. I love being in here, guys. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to my Odyssey channel, which is what you see on the screen right here. I really appreciate the super chats. Real quick shout out to the people that I can shout out. Snook Ralston just like pummeled the super chat room. So did Unapologetic Apologist, Tyrant's Bane, TDOA, Snook Ralston again, News Now Fort Worth, Snook Ralston again, Tyrant's Bane again, Unapologetic Apologist, Snook Ralston again, Unapologetic Apologist, Tyrant's Bane, The Young Philosopher, Unapologetic Apologist again twice, and Zen Takeo, and Tyrant's Bane again. Yeah, Tyrant's Bane. Awesome, man. Everybody. Oh, contact at highimpactflix.com. I guess it would be good to drop my email, huh? Contact at... And if you gave a super chat and it didn't come up, because for some reason it didn't come up on my viewer activity, guys, I apologize. Thanks for supporting the live stream. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Hope you guys have a great night. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday.